All right. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Who do we got here? Carol's in the house, Dale from Ohio, JJ's here, Nostradamus, Angela Fleming, Kathy, and Janet are both here. Geez, didn't I just see you guys a little while ago? Uh, I hope everybody is doing well. I hope your week is going well. So, anyway, before we jump into anything, I want to remind everybody that this is a very family friendly oriented channel. I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. If you cannot abide by those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches are going to boot you out of here because we're not going to tolerate that. So there we go. But anyhow, I went out today finally. First time in 8 days that I actually went anywhere. Hey DJ, how you doing tonight? But yeah, it's whew, I got my butt kicked pretty hard. I feel better. I am feeling better. Not 100% yet, but definitely much better than I was. Yeah, it was being sick is no fun. I hate being sick. And I'm the type of person when I'm sick, it's like leave me alone. That's always the way I've been. Just leave me alone. When I feel better, I'll climb out of my hole. So, but I do appreciate the people that did reach out, and ask me if I needed anything. I do appreciate that, but yeah, I definitely, I needed to crawl inside my hole and just recover. And I've had that happen before. I mean, it's just, it happens every couple of years, unfortunately, and you catch whatever is going around, and I should have been. I'll tell you a mistake that I made, because obviously summertime when the weather's good and everything's nice, I don't take my vitamins. I don't. But normally I would have already started my vitamin D3, my zinc, and vitamin C. I normally would have, but I hadn't been taking those, and so started taking them again because I definitely like they definitely make a difference, and but I should have been taking them much sooner. And I think if I had been taking my vitamins sooner, I might not have gotten sick in the first place, or if I had, it wouldn't have been as bad. But sometimes your body just says, okay, time to recharge and heal up, and all the little aches and pains, you know, definitely makes a difference. But yeah, not a good time. Definitely not a good time. But we're getting better, and so feeling better. If I wasn't feeling better, believe me, I wouldn't be on here doing a live stream for you guys. So, but anyway, so that's that. But so it's this whole thing. I'm like so over this whole election thing. I'm like so done with it. I can't wait for it to be over with. Um, it is like overkill at this point. I mean, now I don't know if you saw that. See, here's what I think is interesting. Okay, here's what I find interesting, and tell me if I'm 100% off base or not. When you have one side is calling Trump Hitler and Mussolini, and he wants to be a dictator, and he wants to go after his political opponents and do all this type of stuff. Isn't that exactly what the left has done? Am I wrong on that? Have they weaponized the DOJ and the FBI to go after him, and try to get him? And have they not done that? Is that not going after your political opponent? Are you that afraid of someone that you would have to do that? So here's another. I always have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions, right? Projection, exactly. Hypocrisy at its finest, exactly. But all the things that they're saying that he's going to do, you know, um, they've done the exact same thing to him. Here's another thing that I find interesting. Okay, so we have this election coming up, and you already have now. I find this is interesting. I find this interesting. You already have a couple of states, swing states, by the way. Of course, it's swing states that have said we probably won't be able to call the election on election day. It may take some time afterwards. Hmm. Could that possibly be because they got to see? And I'm not saying this is what it's going to be. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just speculating. It's a question. Could it possibly be that they need time to figure out how many more votes they need for the other side to make the other side win? Could that possibly what it is? I mean, I remember back in the day growing up, every election, they pretty much were called right away, except for the hanging Chad. The hanging Chad um, in Florida. Remember that one? I always thought that was fun. That was an interesting one as well. The hanging Chad. But so you now all of a sudden you're going to say we can't. And there's been I don't know if you guys have seen this. There's been a ton of early voting, a ton of early voting because it's available to do so. So who knows? You know, I don't have a lot of faith in the system, as you guys know. I have said it a million times, and I'll say it again. People get all pissed off at me because of it, but I don't really care. I don't vote. I have never voted, not one time ever in my life. Have I ever voted, and I have no intention of ever voting. I don't believe in the system. I think it's flawed. I think it's easily corrupted. And I don't trust them. And at the end of the day, okay, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter who gets into office, folks, because this is what's going to happen at the end of the day. Whoever gets elected is going to watch out for the rich friends. They're going to watch out for the special interest groups that got them elected, right? And also, they're not going to do squat for us. You know, they're not going to do squat for us. They never have and they never do. We just get screwed every single time. So that's my take on it. I mean, you guys can think whatever you want, and that's perfectly fine. And I respect your right to believe what you want to believe. I do. If you want to vote, I'm not going to tell you you're an idiot because you're voting, because I don't feel like you're an idiot because you're voting. I just I think it's going to be chaos, regardless of who wins. And here's something I want you to remember too. And this will be this will be the first election with an elected candidate and a selected candidate. Remember that. I want you to remember that. She was not duly elected, she was selected. Remember that too, folks. Was there a. Now, here's another question. Was there a coup? Did they tell Joe, you're not running because you can't win? So we're going to put her up there? And I know the reason why they did it, because all the money that was raised for Biden, right? All the money that was raised for Biden. When you don't vote, you give a vote for the other side. Well, but here's so I hear that, and that's. I lived in New York forever and a day. New York always went Democratic, so it didn't matter if I voted or not. New York was always going to go Democratic. Okay, if I was going to vote, I would probably be, obviously a Republican if I was going to vote. Um, Down here in West Virginia always goes, Republican. So, it really is not. I'm not in a swing state where like, oh my God, it's going to be so close. And like I said, but again, I don't believe in the system. I can't participate in something that I don't believe in. It's just against my own moral code. So just because, I don't like this person or that person, and realistically, I mean, do we ever get really good candidates to vote for? And why just two? Why can't we have three or four people that we can say, hey, you know what, I like candidate B or candidate C, Why can't we have that? But we don't. So We always are stuck with the two-party system. The independents, it doesn't matter. When you have the Green Party, they do nothing realistically. So that's a joke. So there's really just the two-party system, and then you have the electoral college. So I mean, you could win the popular vote and still lose the election. I mean, how crazy is that? So, but anyhow, I feel like regardless of who wins this thing, okay, and I know who I'm hoping wins, and it ain't Harris. So, um, you know, it's just I mean she's a freaking communist. I mean realistically, I mean you look at her policies, you know, and now all of a sudden she's flip flopping and oh well no I'm not against fracking. Of course she's against fracking. She wants to take your guns away. I mean it's just it's this is a no brainer. But and like I said, she's the selected candidate, not the elected candidate. So I can't believe that people go, oh yeah, I'm going to vote for her because whatever. But anyhow, but it's just it is what it is. Um, you have what was it in Arizona? I think it was Arizona. Or no, was it Arizona? I'm trying to remember what state it was. I saw the thing where so they have you cannot be removed from the ballot, like if you signed up to vote, okay. If you cannot be removed from the ballot 90 days before the election. So there's the one thing that they've put up there. But they have 208,000 people that are not US citizens that have registered to vote, but that's okay. That's perfectly fine. I mean, how is that fair? You know what I mean? So when I say that the system is jaded and is corrupted, it's a mess. Josh Farrow, voting isn't worth it until the electoral college is removed, no matter what we are in for real hardship. I absolutely agree with you, Josh. I think that real hard times are coming. Uh, you have look at the cost of everything, folks. Thank you so much again for the donation too, Josh. Um, look at the cost of everything. Food prices are outrageous. I mean, they are outrageous. I went today, and just I'm going to give you an example. So I went today to the grocery store, and I had no produce left. I mean, so I picked up bananas and apples, celery, lettuce, uh, radishes. Picked up a couple of loaves of bread. So I mean, I didn't have this great big. I picked up another thing of mayonnaise. I picked up some dish soap, and pretty much that was it. Okay, wasn't much. It wasn't a whole lot of stuff, and it was $56. I mean, I'm like, you got to be. It's insane. I mean, the prices are insane. It's absolutely crazy. So, you know, people are struggling. I just watched a thing. I'll give you an example of the people that are struggling. There was free food given away by these farmers. 250,000 pounds of food. Okay, that was given away to people that just if you're in need, we're giving this food away, come and get it. They ended up turning away thousands of people. Thousands of people got turned away because they ran out. They said people waited up to 4 hours in line to get food. Now, if things are going so swimmingly and everything is so great, why are people having to do that? That's a question, right? I think that's a good question. What do we got? 264 in the chat, guys. We got 102 thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel, and I do appreciate that and thank you ahead of time. Really makes a big difference with the algorithms as well. So the more interaction, the better. We're for the channel. So I thank you for that. Again, if you're not subscribed, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well, and I thank you for that reason as well. So, but when you have food banks in people are having to go to these places to get food, um, that tells you the real story. That tells you how bad things are going for people and how badly people are hurting. You know, the one guy in that line, they were talking to him. He goes, I got a family of six, me and my wife and four kids. He goes, every little bit helps. And he had been waiting in line for an hour and a half at that point. But I just I'm very, very grateful that I put myself in a position a long time ago, that food for me is not a problem. Like I said, with being home for a full week, 8 days basically, it was 8 days since I had left here. I didn't want for anything. I had everything that I needed. So, anytime I was hungry, I had food. Like I said, I used up all my celery and my lettuce and stuff like that. But, you go through that stuff pretty quickly. And those are more of a luxury, and the way that I look at it, they're more of a luxury. And I like them, and I'm trying to eat healthy. So, that's why I wanted them. But, you know, there is there's a lot of stuff going on right now, and I think a lot of people are not really paying attention to the big picture of how bad things are. I mean, look back 4 years ago when they took office. Things were pretty good, other than the whole pandemic nonsense. Okay, things were pretty good up to that point, and the economy had been booming. It was going great. Unemployment was record lows. So, but it's just what happens. You get these clowns in there, and they destroy everything. I mean, why are we not energy independent? Why are we not actively refilling the reserve of oil in this country when you've had this president that's in there right now has tapped into that reserve how many times and drawn it down? When Trump was in, okay, he wanted to refill the reserve when record prices for oil was at record lows. Congress said no. They wouldn't let him do it. So, and again, is that political? Absolutely, that's political. But you gotta look at the big picture of stuff, right? And we were energy independent. Absolutely, we were. We are not anymore. And they still want to get rid of this and get rid of that and do all this green nonsense. Let's ask the people, all right? Let's ask the people in North Carolina, up in Asheville, in Chimney Rock, how that green energy is working for them up there, right? Maybe they should drop off some more electric chainsaws. Maybe that'll help. It's insane. It is insane. If you are looking to go towards being green and have a realistic plan to do it, and say, okay, we need to build up this much infrastructure to take care of stuff, and did it slowly over time, I could get on board with that. Okay, I really could. But when you say, oh, as of this date here, we're not going to allow this anymore, and this is not allowed anymore, and that's going to save the planet. But yet China is building coal fire plants like freaking crazy, and that's perfectly fine. And all the crap that goes on in India. India and China have the biggest populations in the world. They're not on board with any of this green crap. But America, we're going to make a difference because we have 300 million people here, and oh my God, we're so terrible. People are morons. I'm sorry, but people are morons. You got to see you're being played. I mean, this whole carbon tax nonsense is just another way for the government to separate you from your money. That's what it comes down to. And there's a group that are packing supplies in on pack mules. I saw that, Delbert. I did see that. I read about that, and that's awesome. I still have another 100 pounds to go. I buy 400 pounds from a local farmer. They sell 50-pound bags for $20. Nothing wrong with that, Don. Yep, nothing wrong with that. But there's a lot of stuff going on, guys. A lot of crazy stuff, and I wish people would pay attention. And as you get into voting season, remember who were the ones. And I talked about this in my video earlier today, and it was funny how it didn't get a whole lot of views. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit right now, in this live stream, and hopefully, it gets out to some more people. I find it interesting that the people that want you to reelect them are the ones that shut down this country, that destroyed how many small businesses that never reopened again. These are the ones that said you have to have this card to go here or go there or go to a concert or any of that type of stuff. And if you didn't have it, you couldn't go, right? They used shaming techniques, they used bribery to try to get you to get this. Remember that? I remember all that. I never forget those type of things. That they were, and here's the best part about all this, guys. Here's the best part about all this. Okay, so all these things happen. And what, people got short memories? What do you, like snails? You don't remember anything from yesterday, but yet these people want to be reelected, and you're reelecting them. That makes sense to me, right? But here's the weirdest part of all of it. Do you remember how the whole thing ended? Right? You had to do this. You were doing it for your neighbors. You were doing it for the elderly. You were doing it for your family members. You were doing all this, and they were putting all this pressure on you. Here in West Virginia, what were they doing? They were giving away guns. They were doing a lottery. If you get this, you can be part of the lottery. And they were giving out college scholarships in Ohio. I remember all that. Okay, that's called bribery. I don't know if you know that or not. That's called bribery. Okay, just putting it out there. Manipulation. Huge amount of manipulation. Yeah, donuts. Wasn't it weed also, Susan, down in New York City? They were giving free weed away. And if you didn't do it, you were the bad guy. You were a conspiracy theorist. You were an anti-vaxxer. You were all these terrible, horrible things if you didn't do it. How dare you question the science, right? Upstate it was donuts. Okay. Um, but so anyway, how did it end? I want you to think about that, folks. Like a fart in the wind. One day you had to have your little ID to show and prove that you did something to be able to go anywhere. And the next day, none of it mattered anymore. None of it mattered. Everything's back to normal. Everybody could go to baseball games and commingle if you had it or didn't have it anymore. Didn't make any difference, right? Because you know why? Right there. What's that? The money, right? So it's just, they made a fortune on that. And I want you to think about this and do your research. How many congressmen, how many congresswomen, how many politicians in general had stake in big pharma, especially the ones that were rolling that out, right? And remember this: it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free. You can do that. It's free. It was never free. It was never free. Because guess who paid for it? We did. The taxpayers. We paid for it. So again, it's just, it is amazing to me how gullible people are, how easily manipulated they are. I'm going to bring up this point again, and I brought this point up in when I was speaking of this earlier, and I've talked about this before. When people said, how could the people of Nazi Germany go along with what happened? I can't believe it. How could they be so easily manipulated and not know what was happening and all that type of stuff? Think about that, right? Well, guess what, folks? Now you know. You know why you know? Because they did it to us. They did it to us. And very few people stood up and said, yeah, no, I'm not doing it. Okay. I never did it. My mom never did it. My daughter never did it. Okay. My sister, she never did it. Now, I realize a lot of people were coerced because either you do it or you lose your job. A lot of people did it just to save their jobs. And I understand that. And you do what you had to do. But there was no way I was ever doing that. And, like I tell people, how am I still here? How am I still here? This deadly, horrible thing that was out there that was killing everybody, supposedly, right? I never got nothing. Now, did I get sick during that time period? I think I did. Just before it started, I believe, So I have this weird thing. A lot of people have this weird, well, everybody has this weird thing. It's called an immune system, right? It's called an immune system. And it fights infections. And, you get sick. And guess what? You come out of it the other side stronger because you've built up antibodies. It's weird. It's a weird system that works fantastic. Um, and, I just, yeah, it was so deadly you had to be tested to see if you had it right. Yeah, right. Pineapples and coconuts had it too. Yeah, it was a lot of interesting stuff that they did. Yeah. So, but you know, yep, 10% fatality rate in nursing homes were the most valuable to live. Isn't that interesting also? Let's go back to this. Let's go back to Cuomo being the governor of New York. Enforcing, I want you to remember this because this is, like I said, I remember everything, okay? Forcing nursing homes in upstate New York to take those patients with that sickness into their nursing homes. They could not refuse. They were not allowed to refuse. And what was the result of that? Those nursing homes, it went through those nursing homes like crazy, and a lot of compromised people died. Well, they're worthless anyway, right? They're at the end of their lives. They're not a viable member of society anymore, so they didn't care, right? I'm sure the people that was their loved ones cared. So, it's there was a lot of stuff that happened that was wrong, that people were not charged, which should have been charged. I'm sorry, but you know how deadly this stuff was. You know how bad it was for, or so you say, how deadly it was. So you're going to put it where most vulnerable people are and force those places to take people that have it. Well, that makes sense. Here's an idea. How about take them, the ones that are sick with it, and isolate them in an area where it's just those people that have it. So, you know, but thank goodness places like Wegmans and Kroger's and Walmart and Lowe's and Home Depot and the liquor stores and the weed stores, they got to stay open. Isn't that awesome? They got to stay open. That's just wonderful. Record profits. Walmart, look at it, folks. Look it up. If you think I'm BSing, look it up. Record profits during that time frame. But how many small businesses, how many restaurants, how many places went under and never came back on? Never came back online. Never, never did anything again. How many of them? You know. But boy, if you wanted to go get drunk, go home and beat your wife, that was perfectly fine. That was okay, because you're angry and we understand that, but it's okay, you know. Divorces sure went up too. Incidents of child abuse, that went up. Terrible. The whole situation was terrible. Should have never been allowed to happen. Never been allowed to happen. So, and I want you to also look something up, okay? Look something up. The year before, what the death rate was in the whole country, the year it happened, and then the years leading past that, what was the death rate? Was there a big spike because of this terrible, horrible thing that happened? You would think there would be, right? I mean, they would they say like 1 million people died, 1 million people died because of it, or something like that. So there had to be a huge spike up, but it's weird. There wasn't a huge spike. It's the same. So you mean the people that died that normally got the flu that didn't exist during that time period, right? I get so sick and tired. I get so sick and tired of people saying, "Oh yeah, I got the big C, right? Oh, I got the C." And I'm like, "What, do you got the flu?" The flu ain't gone away, folks. It didn't just disappear, but it didn't exist then because nobody was diagnosed with that. So, I'm getting on my soapbox with it. It's something that really irritates me. a lot. It just, and the fact that people just pretend like it never happened now, you know, and that's perfectly okay. Yeah, I saw that, JJ. If you guys want to read his statement that he's putting up there, I saw that as well. Yeah, everything was. You know why? Because the hospitals got more money. They got more money if that was the case. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting. And the censorship on social media, when you questioned anything or if you disagreed, you were medical misinformation and all those type of things, right? See, the thing is, what I'm saying here, I'm not saying any medical misinformation. I'm saying facts that were proven out that have showed, right? So, it's a sad situation. It is unbelievable, realistically, how easily people were manipulated. And you think that that's going to be it? You think that's going to be the last thing that they're going to manipulate you on? There'll be more. Trust me. More things will be coming, and they'll use the same game, and people will get in line, and they'll do as they're told. Because, well, I couldn't tell you how many times I heard, well, I just put that on because I just didn't want to cause any problems. You know, choices, folks. It's all about choices. So, that's the reality of the situation. It is what it is. So, you know, a lot of ads tonight. I'm sorry about that. That's good old YouTube doing their thing. So, what are we up to? 305 in the chat, guys. We got 168 thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. Again, I do appreciate that ahead of time. It really does make a I'm out of control. Yeah, right. Really makes a big difference with the algorithms. So I do appreciate it for that reason as well. Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would also ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And thank you very much. I do appreciate that ahead of time. So, but yeah, well, here's the thing. When you are sitting here sick, like I've been, and you're not going anywhere and you're not doing anything, all you have is time to think. You got a lot of time to think, and it's just I just want to get back on track, to keep doing what I'm doing. When I like I told you, I did go out today. I filled up all the empty propane tanks. They got filled up today, so those are top back off as well. That was something else that I wanted to get done. I'm just trying to slowly be as stocked up as I possibly can. Um, you know, took me 2 weeks to get over that crud. Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit longer yet for me. I'm like I said, I'm going back to work tomorrow, but I do feel better each day. Especially the last 3 days, I felt better each day, a little bit better. Like I said, today was the first day I ventured out because I needed to get out. Like I said, and take care of a few things. So felt good about that. But I definitely not 100%, but much better than I was. So, oh, I'm sure of that. Well, see, and there's what I think is funny. He says he's getting the Harris ads. I think that's funny that on a conservative channel that's the ads they're going to throw up there. So very interesting. But like I said, I will be so glad when this is over, regardless of what happens beyond it. I think it's going to be a tough time past that. When they talk about unity and coming together, I don't think you're seeing that. I honestly don't. Um, there's too much of a divide at this point. One side feels they're 100% right, the other side feels they're 100% right. But if you pay attention, and are not, you can click on the not interested option on the political ads. Oh, okay, that I did not know. But like I said, just we get through that. People really need to stay focused on preparation. That's my biggest thing. It's, I mean, making sure you have enough food on hand, that you are taking care of your families, that you're getting ready. Ed, did you see Obama saying he doesn't understand why we are so divided? It's like the pot calling the kettle. Yeah, right. He started the division. I agree, Butch. I've said to people, I said Obama set race relations back 20 years. I absolutely believe that. You know, before he got elected, I don't think we were as bad as we are now. And, the hatred that people have for each other. And for what? I don't get it. I'll tell you, and I've said this before, and I'm saying I don't hate anybody. I really don't hate anybody. But if there's people that are a-holes, and they come in all colors, folks, I just don't want nothing to do with them. I just don't want nothing to do with them. Um, you know, but I would highly recommend you get yourself stocked up the best way that you possibly can, to be as ready as you possibly can, because I have a lot of worries after this election is done. I have a lot of worries of what may happen, and the more ready we are for those situations, the better off we're going to be. Hate only hurts you because most don't know you hate them and the other half doesn't care. Well, the thing is, I always told people hate only hurts the person who hates, because the person that you're hating probably doesn't even think about you, doesn't know about, that you hate them, and it's just eating you. It's like a cancer. Hate is like a cancer. And I had two people that I hated, and I think I talked about this before. I had two people that I absolutely hated, and I went and talked to both of them, squashed it, forgave one. The other one, we reconciled our differences, and actually we're friends to this day. Me and that guy are. Um, but I had to let it go for my own self because it was eating me alive, and it's a waste of energy. And there's so many positive things that we can do in life. There's so many positive effects that we can have on other people. But if you are negative all the time, negativity breeds negativity. If you're around somebody that's always that Debbie Downer, oh, this sucks, and oh, that sucks, and things are so bad, and poor me, and I'm a victim, and what, and that type of stuff, that mindset, that mentality, it will bring you down. So if you try to put yourself around positive people, you know, don't get me wrong. We all are going through stuff, folks. Everybody's going through stuff. And you should acknowledge that we're going through stuff, but if you're always negative and never positive, people don't want to be around you. Then they're not going to be around you, you know? So if you try to be positive and put out good things, and I honestly believe you put out good energy comes back to you. I'm a big believer in that. And like I said, as far as hate goes, I don't have the time or the energy to waste on it. I really don't. Like I said, I take everybody on an individual basis. If you're cool with me, I'm going to be cool with you. It's simple as that. Simple as that. And, you know, um, somebody comes here with bad intentions is what they're going to find. I mean, that's just a fact. What's your take on North Korean soldiers helping the Russians against Ukraine? I heard that they were saying that there was North Korean soldiers in there. I keep hearing this stuff is like, oh, now we're gonna get into World War III. Be careful what you wish for, folks. World War III would not be a pleasant thing at all in any way, shape, or form. It would decimate way too many countries. Way too many countries would be decimated if there was a World War III. It would not be a good thing at all. So I hope that doesn't happen. And that's where I'm at with that one. You know, we need to stay out of that. We got to stop funding it. Realistically, I'm sick and tired of us funding it. I'm sick and tired of when they're going to give people, because of the hurricane, a $750 loan that they have to pay back. And then what? A couple days later, we send another what? $415 million to Ukraine in emergency aid. Haven't we sent them enough? Don't you think that people in North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida could have used that 415 million dollars a whole lot more than Ukraine could have? Right? I think they probably could have. We could have done a lot of good to help people instead of giving them a loan. I mean, that's disgusting to me. That's disgusting to me. A lot of those people are supposedly getting denied for that 752. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, absolutely crazy. So, 425 to Ukraine, 157 to Lebanon the day of the hurricane. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, there's almost $600 million that could have gone to help our own country. These people that are in office right now are weakening America. They're weakening us. With this whole woke crap with the military, that doesn't help. All right. You need hard chargers. You need people that are going to get the job done. You don't need panty waste. I'm sorry. You want to be a panty waste, knock yourself out, have a great time at it. Okay. Um, you want to, be in the whole woke agenda, and have your little things that you do. Fantastic. There's no place for that in the military, folks. Um, you know, our military has been weakened because of the quality of people that we're having in there and getting rid of the people that can take care of business. That weakens us big time. Okay. um, it's insanity to me. It's insanity what's going on when, like I said, the petroleum reserve, you know this president has hit that reserve. I know of at least twice, if not more. If not more. That doesn't help us. That doesn't help us. That hurts us, because if there is an emergency in a country, that's what that is for. That's what that is for. If you're using it to try to keep gas prices down to make yourself look good because it's your policies that you put in place that's driven the gas prices and the oil prices up, right? So whose fault is it then? It, it, it boggles my mind that people don't pay attention to everything that goes on. Just listen to what they hear on the news. They believe everything that they're told. They question absolutely nothing, and that's what happens. And yeah, and then it's always Trump's fault. Yeah, it's always going to blame Trump. So, but yeah, it's just pushing stuff on our kids. I have a problem with that. Leave the kids alone. Let the kids be kids. You know, uh, they're going to do what they're going to do when they get to a certain age. If they decide they want to do something, if they want to be the other gender, if whatever, if they're like 16 and they've got the more of a maturity level, when they're 18, if they want to go ahead and transition, then knock yourself out. If that's what you feel like you got to do, I don't even care about that. If you're an adult, do what you want to do. But to have young children be put on hormones and blockers and all that type of stuff, maybe because mommy wanted a little girl and not a little boy. You know what I mean? So you don't know always what the real agenda is, and kids are easily manipulated. They are. So, I have nothing against, like I said, again, what two consenting adults do, folks, I could care less. Knock yourselves out. Um, it doesn't bother me. I don't care what adults do. But when you do stuff with children, I have a big issue with that. I had a family in Mass refuse to call their boy a girl, and they lost custody of their son. And that's happened a lot, and that's government overreach. Um, like I said, it's again, it's you hear this term masculine uh, uh, masculine toxicity, or how do you say it? Uh, Masculine toxicity, or something to that effect. You know what I'm saying when I say that? Um, that's insane too. Like, it's bad to act like a man. You know, uh, I don't know. Like I said, toxic masculinity. Thank you. I knew I was my brain's not 100% functioning, folks, so I do apologize. But yeah, that's insanity. I would hope men would act like men, because a lot of them now don't. You've seen them out there, so a lot of them don't. You know, but it's crazy. Okay, okay. So okay, before we do, we got 348 in the chat. We're at 230 on the thumbs up, folks. Again, if you have not shot a thumbs up, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel, and I thank you ahead of time. Again, it really does make a huge difference with the algorithms as well. So the more interaction, the better for the channel. Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And I thank you for that reason as well. All right, so we're going to do egg count. So, how many eggs today? And yes or no for Miss Betty White starting now. So, I'll give you guys a moment to get your guesses in, and then we will go from there. All right. If you had the same exact guess as Rhonda Henry with the correct answer of 5 eggs today, and obviously then yes, Miss Betty White laid. So congratulations to Rhonda Henry. You've won absolutely nothing, but you are happy. So congratulations to her. First time I got 5 eggs in a while too. I will tell you that. Very first time in a while that I got 5 eggs. So I was really surprised. Yesterday, I'll tell you, yesterday I had one broken egg yesterday. So to get all 5 eggs today, really, really happy about that. So, oh, so I got to tell you, so what happened? I had gone out just before I got sick, and I had picked up. I get for the chickens, I feed them cracked corn, and then I get them the pellets of feed. Okay, and excuse me. So I get that, and I mix them together, and that's what I give them so they can eat. Well, I had picked them up, brought them home, and I open up the cracked corn bag. It's cracked corn, and then I open up the other bag, and it's a layered mash. So it's a combination of broken down feed and cracked corn. I was like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me!" And they have been chowing that. I mean, they're like going through it like crazy. So I'm like, "Oh my god!" So one of the things that when I did go out today, when I went out, I had to pick up another bag of the regular feed. So I'm going to use up the that layered mash combo first, get rid of that, and then I'll be back to the normal stuff for them. How's Heather, Eddie, and your mom? Everybody's doing really well. Mom is recovering really well. She had her surgery. She had a cyst in her thyroid in her neck, or up in wherever that is in there. But her whole neck was swollen out. It was really really bad, and but the cyst was inside of the thyroid. So they went in, and I think they removed like half the thyroid and got the cyst out. They said that it looks really good. They don't think it's cancer. They got everything out of there, and she should be okay. And so she has been recovering from that. But it was kind of scary because you don't know. Like I said, I was told I had a cyst, and that cyst turned out to be cancer. So in my family, that's a scary thing. And mom is no nonsense. Okay. And she was like, "Well, I will tell you this." She goes, "If it's cancer, I'm not going what Karen went through," and that's her younger sister. Um, and Karen's been fighting cancer probably 6 years now, and chemo and radiation, and then she beat it, and then it came back, and she's doing this whole thing again, and she just looks terrible. She doesn't even look like the same person anymore. And she said, if it was cancer, she goes, I'm not doing any of that. I'm not doing chemo or radiation. And I don't blame her. I mean, she's 81. You got a right at some point to say what you want. You know what I mean? Like my dad, when my dad passed away, he was 85. And, his life could have been extended if he had gone on dialysis, and he said, no, I don't want to do it. And so I was his power of attorney. And, they approached me about that. And I said, absolutely not. That's not what he wants. Um, Keep him comfortable. And that's what they did. And then he passed away, kidney failure. So, it's just, you have to make decisions of what's best for you. And at a certain point, why would you? You know what I mean? I mean, if you've lived long enough and if you've had a good life, and I just to me, I mean, life is a blessing, folks. It absolutely is a blessing, and life is what you make it. So if you want it to be this miserable, horrible experience, well, then have at it. Be miserable and horrible. I choose to laugh and have fun. I deal with things like anybody else is dealing with things. There's stressors in my life, and there's stressors in everybody's life. But if you can laugh at things and joke and have a good time with it, then that it just makes life better. And if I can make somebody laugh, that's fun. I mean, I did that, my entire nursing career. I would try to make my patients laugh because they're in a crappy situation, especially somebody sitting in a nursing home. They come in one way, and they're only one way they're going out of there, and that's on a gurney. Once they're in there, they're not leaving. So um, the oversphere. The U.S. government allows all this trans stuff plus, but they won't legalize prostitution for common male. Yet most countries outside the U.S. do. But my thing, and I thank you for that statement, and I do appreciate that. My thing is that I said this 30 years ago. I said you legalize marijuana, and you tax the crap out of it, and you regulate it, and you legalize prostitution, and you tax the crap out of it. You keep the girls safe, you keep the Johns safe, because there's two things that are not going to change. All right, people are going to use prostitutes. They're out there because people use them. So why not regulate it? Make sure the girls are safe. Make sure the Johns are not getting something from what they're doing, and then taking it home and giving it to their wife, um, because you're not going to stop it. You're just not going to stop it. If you did that and regulated it those the right way, we wouldn't even have to have taxes. We wouldn't have to have it because it would take care of itself. The revenue that could be brought in from that, and like I said, so why is it that like you go to Nevada, and you can have certain places where prostitution is legal? You know, it makes no sense to me. Somebody's making a lot of money by making it not legal because maybe there's underground stuff going on or who knows what's happening. So, but I don't know. It's just a lot of crazy stuff in the world. Things that don't make a whole lot of sense, I think, to everyday people. Some of these laws that they put through, uh, you know, and we're giving money to countries that we shouldn't be giving money to, and I don't know. It's if we take care of ourselves, that's what I think we should be doing first. We should be taking care of American citizens before illegals or any of that stuff. When you had, I think it was Arizona where they were saying that, like I said, like 208,000 people that are registered to vote are not American citizens, but they have a law in Arizona that if within 90 days of the election, they can't take anybody off of the electoral rolls. Well, why not? If they're not legally American citizens, they shouldn't be voting in our election, number one. And if they know that they're illegals, why are they being allowed to do that? You know what I mean? Unless you have an agenda and you want to make sure Arizona stays blue, right? So, you know, a lot of corruption, a lot of corruption. There's always been a lot of corruption in politics. That's not going to change. That's not going to go away. Like I said, I'm a big believer in control what you can control. I know what I can control. All right. I know what I can control. I can take care of my family. I can take care of my group. I can get stocked up and I can get ready as I possibly can. And when the time comes, I'm going to do what I have to do to take care of the people that I care about. And that's it. That's all I can control. And, you know, other than that, I just take care of business day to day. I still live my life. I don't hide. I'm not acting scared and oh my God, I'm waiting for the end of the world. Um, I'm not. I just do what I got to do. When things happen, we'll cross those bridges when we get there. We'll do what we have to do. My ex-wife owes me 8 months in back child support and is now trying to claim disability to get support reduced. Unbelievable. Nothing ever changes, man. I'll tell you how much child support. I'm gonna let you guys guess. When my ex left, and I had the kids, and Eddie was the only one that would go with her on a weekend, and that was 10 to 18, okay, and the there was like I said, and that was if she showed up to get him, and then that wasn't a guaranteed. I mean, if she did it twice a month, that was a lot. Guess how much child support I got over that 8 year period? Yeah, zero. You know why? I never took her to court because I didn't care. They're my kids, and I took care of my kids. And that's the bottom line. And I didn't care. I really didn't care. I was going to make sure their needs were met. Um, and if she, this is the way I looked at it, folks. Okay. Now Eddie used to get mad at me when mom wouldn't show up for a weekend to take him, and I would say to him, "Why are you mad at me? I'm not the one that didn't want to, come and get you, But I looked at it like this: every moment that I got to spend with my kids was a blessing, and I feel I was a better person for it, And I tried to instill in them values, uh, you know, a sense of honor and all that type of stuff, and treating people well, and they do, and they're awesome, okay, and they're awesome. But they were my kids, and I was going to take care of them. I don't need some government to get involved and say, "Oh, she's got to pay this or she's got to pay this." My ex never paid a dime. He owed 90K on my son and 40K on my daughter. I signed off on it. I don't care about at that point. I hear you. I hear you. They're scumbags, and the kids know. The kids figure it out pretty quick, folks. You know, if somebody's a deadbeat dad or a deadbeat mom, and don't get me wrong, not all dads are deadbeat dads. They want to be involved with the kids. Um, a lot of times people will use the kids as a tool, both sides, men and women. Okay, turn them against the other parent. Oh, they're this, they're that, the other thing. My daughter wouldn't go with her mother for like 2 years. And the only reason she ever started going back and seeing her mother after that 2 year period is because I said, listen, I go, that's your mom. You need to spend time with her. She's still your mom. And so that's when she started to spend time with her mom. She knew what her mom was, she knew what was going on. She wasn't stupid, you know. And, my daughter was in college. In college, she was an hour away from me. I was traveling an hour to go and see her, and we got together once a week when she was in college, and we would have breakfast. My ex-wife was 20 minutes away, and she never saw her. Her mom never came. So what does that tell you? You know, and it's not like, oh yeah, I'm such a great guy. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's just a matter of it's choices that you make. It's choices that you make. But you know what? The kids don't forget those things. The kids don't forget those things. So anyway, it is what it is. It's like I said, water way under the bridge a long time ago now. My babies in 6 days will be 23 years old. Eddie and Heather will be 23 in 6 days. So, what do you do if all four of your grown children don't have your DNA? That's not good, Tony. Yeah, that would be bad. If you raise them, they're still your kids, though. That's the way I would look at it. You might not be their biological father, but you're still their father if you raised them and they looked at you as the father. But that would be a tough situation. So, anyway, guys, I am going to jump off of here. I hope everybody's doing well. Keep getting ready. That's my advice. Who knows what's going to happen after this election? I think it's going to be a complete SH show. Um, just take care of what you can take care of and be as ready as you can be. I don't think things are going to get better. I think they're going to get a lot worse. So, um, you know, be safe. Keep prepping. I appreciate you all. Have a great rest of your day. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.